introduce people, I always like to dig up a little bit of dirt on them. Okay, you know, they've got all these amazing accolades, but I really actually just wanted something a bit human. So Frank is actually he's Scottish and Irish, and he was in Australia. So he lived in Australia as a professional soccer player in Melbourne. He went to a wedding in the United States and met this gorgeous thing, and of course fell immediately in love and started this long distance relationship between the USA and Melbourne, Australia. So then he was so enwrapped, so in love, he packed up his worldly belongings, told his parents he wasn't coming back to the UK, and as he did this, he got to the airport, and he'd obviously excited, his whole new life was about to start, and there was no Abby. She had clearly forgot to pick him up from the airport. So Abby's someone that's very focused, and she was so focused on working, and she's completely focused. So anyway, obviously it ended in a wonderful marriage and 3 children, and welcome to the stage, Abby.
Doesn't put me in the best light, but I eventually got him from the airport. You guys, I am Abby Gibson, and I am going to get the clicker. I am so humbled, so thankful, and so honored to be with you guys today. Your trust means everything to Frank and I, and he's going to be here bright and early in the morning, and I cannot wait for you to meet him and hear from him. Today, I'm going to talk about my story, and then this afternoon, we're going to dig in a little bit more into Prism, but I want to talk about where I've been, where I'm going, and why does it matter. And I first want to acknowledge, I feel like there are multiple different leaders in this room, right? If this is your first leadership summit, I would love for you to stand up. Wow, let's give them a round of applause. Legacy leaders in this business that have gone before me who I got to build on your back. Truly, I'm thankful. And so you guys know success is not linear. And then we've got another group of leaders, right? And you guys are having the journey of a lifetime right now. You are in your best season. And you know, there might be another group, and I've been in this group before, where you're sitting in this room, you earned this trip, but maybe you are not in the season of a lifetime right now. And maybe you are not legacy yet. And you're sitting here and you're wondering, am I in the right place? Am I doing the right thing? And maybe a few of you are sitting here and you're using these next 2 days to determine your future. And I want to acknowledge that because I have been there before. But one thing we all have in common, I want you to put your hand on your heart. Is it beating?
Yeah.
That's good. We would have a big problem if it wasn't. But if you are in this room with a beating heart, it is because you have purpose here. Your story matters. You are here on purpose, with purpose, and you have a story to tell. And the things that you have felt that might disqualify you in this business or in this life or from success, those very things are your superpower and what makes you qualified for this moment. And I'm going to go through this in my own story. It starts in 2016. I was a customer service representative. I loved hearing everyone's prior or current occupations as they crossed the stage. That was incredible. So I was an ex-Division I college soccer player. I had a 4-year degree. I graduated with honors, and I was sitting in a position that I was dreading. It was a dead end. I felt like all of my goals, my dreams, my visions were suffocating. I was riddled with anxiety, depression. I didn't know how I got to this place. How is this how my life is ending? I was a newlywed. That's Frank and I were on a mattress on the floor because that's all we could afford. It was my parents' mattress from when they were married. My parents have been married over 47 years. It was not comfortable, I'll tell you that. And this is me at my job. And when I found new skin It was through my friend, who so many of you know, my lifelong friend, Rebecca Fair. And for 4 years, and there's a little lesson in this, for 4 years she recruited my mom and I, who is now one of my Team Elite Circle of Excellence earners, 20+ trip earner. She recruited us for 4 years. We avoided her like the plague because I did not believe in network marketing. I believed in suffering, apparently. I believed in staying at a dead-end job where I didn't know where my future was going to hold, living this life that felt like it was nothing. I believed in that, but I wasn't willing to do network marketing. And I'm eating my words now. But every time we said no to Becca over 4 years, she kept going. She stayed consistent. She showed up when people like Ginger and I said no. And so when I saw her post toothpaste on Facebook, I was sitting there. I couldn't afford Crest whitening strips, and I really valued my smile, and I really loved white teeth. So I said, okay, I'll try this. I can afford this. I tried her toothpaste, and it was under the condition I got it for a sale price because I was going to give her a before and after. 2 weeks later, I walked by the mirror and I was like, I need to send that photo. So I sent her a picture. I looked at the pictures, which is right here. And I was like, this works. I need in on this. I was in such desperation, and in life you either need inspiration or desperation. I was at desperation. I didn't feel like a newlywed. There was no honeymoon phase, because when finances are hard, life is hard. And when you're living a life that feels so unfulfilling, it's not fun to be around, and that was me. And so I said, Becca, sign me up. I am desperate. I will do anything. And so it was August 2016 whenever I signed up, and it was out of complete desperation. I posted on Facebook my smile, and people made fun of me. I am telling you, I was the talk of the town, the girl posting toothpaste online, but I did not care. I saw very quickly the vision of New Skin, because it was in October where my husband had a family emergency, and his little sister was lying in a hospital bed in Scotland. And the only reason he was able to get there was because of my retail profit from New Skin. I was 2 months in, and he could be by his sister's side, not because I had a leadership paycheck, but because I was selling and committed to this product in this company, and it changed our life. So I saw that vision. This is me and my mom. It was our first time to New Skin, and we were sitting by the Blue Diamond. We're like, we're going to be Blue Diamonds one day. We had no idea what that meant. But we're like, we're going to be there. And my mom got there in 12 months. She got there before me, with no social media experience. It was incredible. But I saw the vision, and so I committed to this process. I worked 8 to 5. I would work New Skin before work. I would work it on my lunch break. I went to the coffee shop down the street instead of having lunch. I would package orders, then go to the, I would drop them off at the mail and ship them. I carried toothpaste everywhere I went. I had it in my purse, and if someone said, oh wow, you have a nice smile, I'd say, oh my gosh, thank you, you can too. I've got to tell you about my toothpaste, and I'd sell it out of my bag. I was determined. Everyone and anyone needed what I had and what I was experiencing. And I stayed coachable. So whenever this was our first success trip, I was a Ruby, and I brought 4 teammates, and then Becca's in here. And then we were growing, and these are not in any shape or order, but I have helped 130 accounts earn a single success trip, and I've done it on 2 different trips. It's about me staying coachable, and I want to say that. Whenever I started seeing success, whenever I was able to help 130 accounts earn trips, I stayed coachable. Longer than it felt comfortable. I used my upline longer than I felt comfortable. I kind of felt like, man, I know what I'm doing. Do I really need them? Yes, I needed them, because the boring tasks are rich. And I was going to stick to the boring task, and I was going to do what I was taught to do, and the leaders ahead of me did. And so I stayed coachable, and I stayed accountable, because accountability is directly related to your capability. And I'll say that again, because this has changed my life. Your accountability is directly related to your capability. So the moment that you decide that you don't want to be accountable anymore is the moment that you are deciding to put a lid on your capability. And I've kind of listed what we went through. I signed up in August 2016, and by July 2017, I was diamond. April 2017, blue diamond. It was actually May 2018, the day my first son was born, that I hit the first month of Team Elite. Becca texted me. I'd just given birth to a baby. She was like, "You just hit Team Elite." I didn't even understand what Team Elite was at that point. We were just going and helping as many people as possible. I didn't continue qualification. It wasn't until December 2019. But in those first 4 years, in 1 year in 2020, on my team, we created 22 Team Elite leaders. And out of those 22 Team Elite leaders, over 10 people became Circle of Excellence earners. They're incredible. That is about them and the duplication and the accountability that we have all done together. And we grew this together. And I don't want you to hear my story, because I know a lot of people, because I've been in the chairs, you hear success stories, you're like, that's great for you, but you're not me. You don't know what I've been through. You don't know my hardships. You don't know what I'm going through right now. And what I want you to know is, while you see all of this, while you hear my success story that's going up and up and up, you didn't know behind the scenes my marriage was crumbling, that we were headed for divorce, and that the drive that I had to make this work was because I knew I was going to have to take care of myself alone for the first time in my life. You didn't know that I suffered a miscarriage that had me so crumbled with anxiety I barely could get out of bed. But I had vision and I had team, and it was bigger than me. And so every single day I showed up online when I didn't feel like it, when I didn't want to, when no one knew what was going on behind the scenes. I showed up because I was anchored in the vision, anchored to the company. I was anchored to my upline, who they showed me how capable I was when I wasn't believing it. They believed in me. And that's what you get to do for your team. And so I do know, and I know that people have stories so much harder than this. When I joined New Skin, and this story is embarrassing and humbling, but it's a favorite part about my journey, is I was in line at McDonald's getting lunch on the value menu with coins, because that's what I had. On social media, I had a brand new Mercedes because my family was incredible and they gifted me that car, but I couldn't put gas in that car. So if you saw me on social media, if Becca saw me on social media, she wouldn't think I needed this, but I was inside suffocating. So never judge someone from what you see online or what you see in person, because you don't know what's going on behind the scenes, and you don't know that you could be the saving grace for someone in their life. So don't say no to someone before they get to say yes or no to you. You offer this business to everyone and anyone. And I understand there are hard things that go on in life, because I've experienced some of those things. But I also know the beauty behind getting through and growing through the hard. So while we're here, I went from being a dog mom, a stay-at-home dog mom, to a mom of 2 under 2. I had 2 kids at the time. Frank's working 16 hours a day. This is where his story enters. He was the VP of oil and gas company. He had worked his way up from an entry-level accounting position. There's no one grittier or more disciplined than my husband, and I can't wait for you to hear from him. But we had decided he was at the pinnacle of success for Oklahoma, oil and gas. That's like what every cowboy in Oklahoma wants to do. But he had no relationship with our kids. He had no time. He was in control of nothing. He was controlled by his business. And we decided that no success that costs our family is worth it. And so he humbly stepped into a position to care for our children, to take hold of our house, while I built the bulk of what we have right now. And he was such a leader that he positioned himself last, because he saw the vision of New Skin. He saw the vision of where we were going. He saw it before I saw it. And he stepped into this role because he was the leader of our family. And I could have never done anything that I've done without his support. And that came because we went to Utah, I took him on success trips. I wanted him in the room around the people so that he could experience what has changed my life. And we didn't build this business to escape our life. We built it to be present for it. In these pictures, my son Brody is praying, and it is a video, but it's not working. And I want to tell you what I've experienced through this business. That day was a Tuesday in the middle of the day, and my son was severely speech delayed. He was 2.5 years speech delayed. By 3, you still couldn't understand a word he said. By 5, you still couldn't understand a word he said. But this day he prayed for the first time, and we could understand it. And I sat there at my kitchen table at like 12 o'clock on a Tuesday, and I got to hear it myself. I didn't get a video of it. I didn't have a teacher tell me about it. I sat there for the first time, and I heard my son, who I hadn't even heard say Mom, say, God, thank you for this day. And you could barely understand it, but I was filled with tears, with joy, because this is the reason I do what I do. This is the reason I got out of bed when it was hard. This is the reason I put in the work to develop myself and to break down every lie of I wasn't worthy enough, that I wasn't deserving, that I couldn't do this. I made it work, and these are the people I made it work for. So my daughter in the middle, we spent our summer in Ireland this summer so that Frank could be with his family, and she's on top of some mountain we climbed, tongue out, hands in the air, experiencing at 3 years old what I hadn't experienced until I was 23. She gets to experience it at 3. Our daughter in Punta Cana on a success trip, she's wild and spicy, and that's why she looks a little angry in the picture, but she's actually having the time of her life. And it's because of New Skin. A picture in Mexico that we said, you know what? We want to go spend the week on the beach with our children. That's where our office is going to be, and it's because of New Skin that we were able to oh, is it working? I don't know if it's working, but those are my kids, Brody, Goldie, and Frankie, and I do what I do, and Frank does what he does so that we can be there for them, so that when COVID happened and all of Brody's sensory and occupational therapies were canceled, when his speech therapy was canceled, we got to go private because we were able to, because of what New Skin has afforded us to do. It's not about the money, it's about the choice, it's about what we can do for them. And I know that there are others, millions of other Brodies and Goldies and Frankies, and I'm doing it for them too, and that's what you're here doing. It is so much bigger than just a business. It's so much bigger than just our families. And I'm here today through all these highlights after having the hardest year of business that I've gone through in the 9.5 years. And I have more appreciation, more joy than I've ever had, more belief in this business I've ever had. And I truly believe without the dark days, we cannot appreciate the light. And I'm about to show a picture that I sent to my upline Becca right before this. She said, I've never seen this. I said, nobody has. And this was my lowest time in the business. I'm about to give you blackmail. You'll be able to use this against me. But I share it to say, this is all a journey. And John mentioned it earlier. Whether you see your success at the beginning, whether you see it in the middle, whether your hard time comes 9.5 years in, we're all on the same journey. We all experience the same thing. It's just at a different time. So if you're at a roadblock right now, there are brighter days ahead. If you are on the ride of a lifetime, prepare your mindset now, because there will be hard days. And if you don't have vision, if you don't have accountability, those hard days you will not get through without that. So you prepare now. And so I'm going to show you this picture in spring. I'm outside our cold tub, which is actually just a big ice box. And it was in the last spring, after my 8th Team Elite left my business. Not one, not a bronze rep, not a gold, not a ruby. My 8th Team Elite left my team. I got the text message when I was working out in my garage trying to clear my head, and I broke down. And it wasn't out of fear. It was out of frustration for the girls who felt abandoned. It was out of the years and the time that I sacrificed with my family, pouring into others, and just wondering, how do they not see what I see? And I put some of my favorite quotes that I had in my notes section that got me through some of these months. And guys, it didn't stop at 8 Team Elites. I had more than 8 eventually leave. And I'm still standing here today telling you this has been the most joyful year of my Nu Skin career, that this has still been the year, because I'm not living in this season. This is a season, and I heard that at our convention in October in Utah, and I thought, wow, all of these people have gone through some big things, these legacy leaders, and what an honor it is to be in the club that they're in, because I see where they are, and that's where I'm going. So I'm not making decisions. I'm not living in the season of hard. I'm growing through it. Some of the things a lot of people notice when you succeed, but they don't see what it takes to get there. And I know there's so many of you who right now you are giving everything. You're sacrificing so much and people don't see it, but you keep going, because what you build in the dark will come to light. I promise you. I am an example of it. Your decisions shape your destiny. Tony Robbins, icon, obviously. Guys, in that moment, I could have made a decision. I could have said, this business is not for me. This business is failing. It's the company's fault. I could have made every excuse, and I could have quit, but I did not, because your decisions determine your destiny. And my decision was, I am planted, I am firm, I'm going to be steadfast, and when my team feels abandoned by their leaders, they can come to me and know I am not going anywhere. They know that I am strong. They know that I'm not afraid. And they know they can come to me because I have vision beyond what they can see. And in that moment, I made the choice to keep going, because the miracle is in the mountain ahead of you. And if you can't get through that mountain, there will be no miracle on the other side. And what a vehicle we have to experience miracles every day in this business. Obstacles are opportunities, and that's the number one reason why I stand here so thankful for this past year. It's the number one reason that this past year grew my marriage. It grew my faith. It grew my endurance. It grew my belief in Nu Skin, because every single obstacle that came my way, I said, thank you. And I used gratitude to grow through it. I said, thank you for this opportunity to learn. Thank you for this opportunity to get better. Thank you for this opportunity to test my faith. No matter what came, it was an opportunity. It was not an obstacle. And if it's not worth failing for, it's not worth having. And I believe that to my core. If you are not so sold out to something, then you don't deserve the big reward at the end. If you are not ready to fail over and over and over and over until you get it right, then it's not worth you having. So I sat there and I reflected. I was crying because I was frustrated for my girls. And I reflected on what Nu Skin had offered us. We're popping champagne. I actually don't drink, so I was pretending. But in Paris, under the Eiffel Tower, we're in Dubai on the sand dunes. My mom, Ginger, she's in Malawi, literally feeding children who otherwise would not have a meal, experiencing something that she would never experience. One of my team elites, Allie Floyd, I was on that mountain with her and almost saw her lose her life. Is it paragliding, and before they jumped, they tripped, and the parachute didn't go out. And you know what? She's kind of crazy, because she was like, let's try again. But we were in Switzerland, and I got to experience that with her. And every one of these women, here's Frank. We were in Oaxaca, Mexico. We were able to take 4 teammates to our Smile Possible initiative and see these children with cleft palates in Oaxaca, Mexico, and help them and get to experience something with these children who otherwise wouldn't have been known. And it changed our life. It increased our giving. It increased our generosity. All of this, the pictures that you see of these girls traveling, more often than not, they've never been on a flight before. They've never been out of the country before. They've never been on a trip with their spouse before. And I cannot sit in a season of hard and give up when Nu Skin has given me all of this and given hundreds of women the same thing. And so it leads me to this, and this is my guiding light. And this analogy is really easy for me because I'm from Oklahoma. It's very flat, it's very ugly, and there are a lot of long, dark roads. But if you feel like you're in a dark road and there is no light and you're wondering, am I on the right road? Have I taken a wrong turn? Am I where I'm supposed to be? And then you see a light post, like if you're traveling on the Oklahoma highways. Every little bit, it's pitch black, and then you see the light. And the light tells you, yes, you're on the right road, you're headed in the right direction, you're on the right path. And I am so thankful for all of my dark days over the past year that there were lampposts. And lampposts, I see them as the legacy leaders, as my uplines, as my sidelines in this business, my new skin family who went before me and conquered their mountain, and they planted a light post on that dark road for me and for you. And so whatever you're going through, whatever you're growing through, you are literally planting and establishing a light post for the person who's coming after you, because I guarantee you, anything you go through, you're doing it so that you can be the blueprint for the person after you, so that you can be the lamp post. And so I'm so thankful for this analogy, and I hold on to it so tight. Your will is one of the biggest things you have. Be disciplined enough. Be gritty enough. Be faith-filled enough to go after your destiny. And the future belongs to those who see possibilities before they're obvious, and that is Frank and I. You can call me delusional. You can say I'm toxically positive, and that's the truth. I will spin anything in a positive because I believe there is positives in anything. And we are so excited for the future because we know what we have in our hands, and that is Prism. And what excites me the most, I was on social media for 9.5 years. If you asked me 2 years ago in person, what do you do for a living? I would fumble my words. I'm like, can you text me? I don't know how to talk to people. This is scary because I was so used to being behind a screen. So pivoting and being in person, over the last 2 weeks, I've been scanning people in person, on Zoom, with people I've never met before, getting coffee, getting lunch with people, talking to them about their nutritional wellness, so far outside my comfort zone because the vision, I know what I have in my hands, and I know I want to be a part of this. And the pivot was scary and it was hard, but it's been so rewarding. It's brought like fresh wine back into my life. It has brought excitement back into my life, and this is what excites me the most, because when I think of Prism, not prison, hopefully I'm not going there anytime soon. When I think of Prism, I think of myself. I think of myself just 3 years ago, burnt out, exhausted, so unhealthy I couldn't make it through a day without a nap. My husband would go outside with my kids and play soccer while I napped because I couldn't make it through the day. I was just barely living. I was living to work, and then I'd have to rest. And it's because of these supplements I got my life back. And I know that sounds dramatic, and I'm really not one for the dramatics, but it's the truth. I started supplementing, which made me more energized, which made me want to go outside, which made me to start walking, allowing me to start doing that, and thought different things for me. And all of a sudden, I was back to me. I had my energy back. I had my positivity back. I had my life back. I had my health back. And I'm the mother of 3 children. I'm the wife to an amazing husband. And when the mom is healthy, the whole family is healthy. And so what I see, I don't just see business change. I see families changed. I see mothers like myself who are new again. I see family units changing, because when you feel better, you act nicer, right? And it is changing generations. I see my children begging for broccoli because every single week we scan them, and whoever has the highest scan gets $1. And that's a way to gamify health for your kids. And that's what we have. And every time I get to meet with someone and they're so intrigued by this business, and then I get to show them my Prism, which is in my backpack. I brought it just so I could have it at the airport, so I could take it out, scan myself, and the person next to me be like, what are you doing? And I'm going to be like, let me tell you. And so I can tell them, this is a business in your pocket. This is leverage. This is legacy. And you can have this too. And it's for every single one of us in this room. And what a perfect time, because your preview just started. And I want you guys, I want to hear, because I know this time next year, someone is going to ask, who started this wave of momentum? Who started this Prism.io momentum? Who started this? And I want every single person in this room to be able to stand up and say, I did. I am one of the world changers. I'm so thankful for your time. And it is the highest honor to be here. But I want you to run out of the room and go purchase your Prism. Go text every person on your team and get the Prism in their hands, because this is not just a tool. This is the opportunity of a lifetime, and it's going to happen. Whether we do it or not, whether we get involved or not, this is blowing up. This is changing the world. This is going to be in 10 million homes by 2030. So write down how many homes of those 10 million are going to be under your downline. And write it out, because if you don't have an actual goal, you are going nowhere. And so go buy your Prism, talk to your team, and write out your goal of how many lives are going to be changed because of you. Thank you guys so much.